planning to put a firm offer in 2023 on your house, then consider this 5 things before putting an offer on it. Hello everyone, my name is Parth Soni. I'm a local realtor based in Waterloo region. If you have any questions about real estate in Waterloo market, let me know and happy to connect with you. If you like my video, the only thing I ask is to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more content about real estate in Canada. So for the context of this video, we are not focusing on the location, your finance and things like that. We will be only focusing on the 5 things that is within the house. So the very first one is roof. Roof is one of the costliest thing to replace in a house. There are various factors which can determine the cost of the replacing a roof, like pitch, style of the roof, square feet of the roof, and also the accessibility and the location of the roof. In Ontario, typically you will find mostly 2 kinds of roof. One is asphalt, the other one is metal. Asphalt is most commonly used, that's cheaper version. Metal is usually more durable and that lasts about 35 to 50 years depending on what company you go for. Asphalt roof usually lasts about 15 to 20 years. So ask your realtor what kind of roof it is. If they don't know, there will be a data sheet. You can check that out in the data sheet, what kind of roof it is, how old the roof is, because you know if it's asphalt roof and it was replaced 20 years, last 20 years, then you know when you buy that house, you have to replace that roof. If it's not mentioned how old the roof is, ask your agent, ask your realtor to check with the listing agent. Most of the time they would know about it. If not, what I do for my client is that I go in the previous listing. If I can get any details from the previous listing, I check for that. So my client can take a better decision based on that. If you don't have any information, what I usually do is that go down on the second floor of the roof if it's possible. Then you can see a little bit of the roof down there. Do a visual inspection. See if there is a wire patch down there. See if the shingles are missing and see if there is any white spot or discoloration going on. From that, you can determine that whether it will need an immediate replacement or not. The second thing in the house is the electric system. So this is really important. If you don't know about electrical system or not confident, don't touch the electrical panel, avoid it. However, if you want to check, most of the panels are located in the basement or into the garage. In Ontario, typically you will see 3 kinds of electrical system. The very first one is tube and knob. The second one is fuses. The third one are the circuit breaker. That's the most modern one. The very first one, tube and knob, that is usually used for most of the older houses. Now newer houses don't use that. So if you're planning to buy older houses like 70-year or 100-year-old house, you might have some tube and knob wiring in that one. Ask your realtor what kind of wiring it is. They would be able to figure it out and would be able to let you know about that thing. The other one you may find is fuses. It's really common, like a circular plug point. If you see something like that, those are fuses. The third one, in the most common, the recent houses, if you're planning to buy a house that is about 30 or 50 year old, most often you will find circuit breaker. That is the most modern one. Usually most of the houses in Ontario we deal with have 100 ampere circuit breaker. If you want to have like a Tesla or a hot tub or much more electrical power is needed for your requirement, then go for a 200 ampere of the electric panel. Check for that if it's possible or not, and whether it's 100 ampere or 200 electrical panel. The second one is the fuses. Fuses is not a modern technology, but you may find in 1960s to 1970s houses. If you see fuse and want to convert that fuse into circuit breaker, usually it charges, electrical can get you a better idea based on your situation, but a normal charge, what I've seen, in a range of about $2,000 to $2,500. If you see tube and knob or older kind of electrical paneling, no need to worry about that. The only thing you need to consider is that those are the older one. You will likely have a more insurance on that one, and there will be a fire hazard for that one. So check with an electrician that what it will cost you to change tube and knob to circuit breakers. What I have found from most of my past clients is if you want to change from tube and knob to circuit breaker, it could usually cost anywhere between $8,000 to $10,000. Again, depending on how many number of wires, how big the house is. So check with your electrician and figure that out. The third one in this one is the HVAC unit, that is heating, ventilation and air conditioning unit in the system. Most of the modern houses will have a heating unit, that is the furnace, and then you will also have a cooler, that is air conditioning, that will be outside of your house. There are some high efficiency furnaces available, so check if there is a high efficiency furnace or it's just the basic one. Typical furnace lasts about 15 to 20 years, so if you know that if it's an older furnace, then account that cost when you are planning to put a firm offer on that house. Usually a furnace costs anywhere between $3,000 to $6,000 depending on what brand, what kind of furnace you want to go with, and what kind of installation you are looking at. The other thing to notice is the AC unit, that is the air conditioning unit that will be outside of the house. Usually that lasts about 10 to 15 years, and all these things you can get through the data sheet, or there will be a serial number on that unit. When you go outside, look on the unit, there will be a serial number. Same thing on the furnace. If you don't know the age, there will be a serial number. So take a picture of it, go online and check it out. Most of the time it's simple, but not always. They will have some sort of serial number which might not directly say whether it's built in 2015, 16 or 17 or whatever age look like. So you have to decode that serial number. Your realtor can definitely help you out with this. And again, the AC, if it's an older AC, it usually costs anywhere between $2,000 to $4,000 to replace the whole unit. And in some of the houses I have seen, it only have a furnace and don't have an AC unit outside. So if that's the case, check with your realtor if it does allow to have an AC system to be installed on a later date or not. As being said, those are the ages that typically a manufacturer would recommend how much it will last, but most of the time I have seen, and in my house also I have an older furnace, so it runs. So it's not only that if it's a 20-year-old you have to replace it. Of course, if you're looking for a higher efficiency, then go and replace it, but it will run in most of the cases. The fourth point is the windows. Many people neglect how old the windows are. They don't even consider it, but it's just for your own sake. Try to get as much information as possible and see if the windows are newly replaced or it are the older one. You can do a quick physical check on that one, just a visual inspection, and see if it's older or the newer one. If you see any water damage down there or any condensation on the windows, then seal might need to be changed for that windows and you might have to replace that window. The better benefit of getting a newer window is like a less electricity bill. That is the higher efficiency windows. It will have a clean, good look, more modern locking system in that one. The other things I would say, it increases safety and also increases the curb appeal of that house. Your house may look really nice when you have a nice setup. Fifth point, structure. Now this is something really complex and really tricky. Check with a home inspector how the structure of that house is, because as a realtor I'm not qualified to comment anything about the structure of that house. But I've been to various inspections, and what I have found is that you may see a minor crack, and people get worried about that, but don't worry about all the minor cracks. There is a difference between parging crack and a foundation crack. If there is a crack in the parging, then that's okay, it's not a structural thing. But if there is a crack in the foundation, go with a home inspection, check for that, do your due diligence, do a visual checkout of that house if you see any crack which is really big, and see if there is any settlement of the house, because those are the two main things you will find when there is a crack or the foundation is not good. The house might be settling on one side. The other thing you can find is the water seepage, and both of those are not good for the structural integrity of. So those are the 5 things I would definitely recommend to check before putting a firm offer on the house. Again, being said that depending on the age and the style of the house, not all the things could be might be updated in the house, but the main purpose of this video is that you know what to check into the house when you are going firm on that particular house. And as I said, not all the things would be updated when you put a firm offer on that house, but you know that now you can account for certain things. Let's say if the bedroom window is not working well, or it's not good, or it might need a replacement, now you know it will cost $2,000 to replace it. So you can account that when putting a firm offer on that house. When I work with buyer, I make sure we get as much as information possible from the data sheet, from the listing agent, from the previous listings, and also to check the general visual inspection of that particular house. And if you have any doubt, always go for an inspection. I hope you find some value in this video, and if you like this video, please do subscribe to my channel. Have a great day.